Howdy, Cowboy Gamer here, and you're listening to the 12th episode of the Portable Gaming Podcast. Now, usually I would jump right into what I'm playing. I'm still making some changes to things. Again, I know this is not as quick of an episode. I haven't done a full week, but I'm still trying to speed through it. I've been trying to set up a specific time during the week. However, my work likes to change my schedule, so some days I have like Tuesdays off, some days it's Saturdays, Sundays. You just never really know, so that kind of hurts, and I don't have a set time of schedule, so I still get jumped around. I was actually wanting to do it on Tuesday of this week would have been better, but since I had the late episode last week, I only would have had like 3-4 days worth of news, and most stuff doesn't happen on the weekend, so even less. So I kind of wanted to wait, and now that I'm waiting, we're pulling up on PAX. I only have pretty much one piece of news out of PAX so far. It's kind of important, and I really like it, so I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to try and save almost everything else PAX related for next week's episode, just because I'd rather not get too much into it, and there's going to be a lot to talk about in PAX, and I'm still, again, short for time today, so let's get into some of the things that I am changing. So the very first thing I usually talk about is what am I playing. I'm also going to throw in other games other than my handhelds that I'm playing, and just kind of talk about some of my gaming related stuff that's been going on. Maybe eventually, maybe we'll probably talk about my backlog, stuff like that. But currently, if you've seen some of one of my first videos on YouTube, I showed my game room and collection, and primarily, I am a NES collector. So pretty much this week, I picked up a copy of Over Horizon, which was a release in Europe. It was produced by Nintendo of Europe, Nintendo, but it was usually you have markings for Nintendo of America and US and all that. Well, this one would have been coded as NOE, which stands for Nintendo of Europe. But the game I picked up actually does not have the code on the front of the case, which is usually on the picture. So that leads me to believe that it is a homebrew or a remake. Someone got this sticker and put it on it. It does look like it's the game, but not the original Europe release of the game. So still something good. I got it pretty cheap, so I'm happy to have it, but not super amazing. It's not going to fetch very much money. While the correct version is worth a lot of money, over $100, $150. Remakes are almost worthless, like $10-15 these days. So not super amazing. Stuff I've been. I also wanted to bring up kind of my backlog. Kind of my hopes are that if I bring up my backlog and I talk about it on this show on occasion, maybe I will actually think about playing some of my backlog games and eventually decrease my backlog or my wall of shame, list of shame, whatever you want to call it. It's up to you guys. But kind of my main one right now, main couple is which are games all pretty much sitting in my consoles. Final Fantasy 1 for the NES. I started playing that game like 5 years ago when I really started getting into collecting NES games. Started playing it because I love Final Fantasy in general and the whole franchise, and this was the first game, and it was on Nintendo. So I wanted to see what it was like in 8-bit. Played through it. I am getting really close to the end, but my guys are just not leveled high enough to finish off the final few bosses. And because of that, it takes a long time to get experience. So I'm at the point in Final Fantasy where I just have to grind out experience and go up a couple of levels. It's pretty slow and tedious, but I'm I did it for a couple of days where I just sat there and ran back and forth in a forest and leveled up a little bit, but I'm still not high enough, so I wanted to just keep going. But it's just sitting there. It's in my Nintendo it's been there for about 2 years unplayed, or, well, I play it a little bit, but most of the time just unplayed and sitting there. So not happy about that, especially with how close I am to finishing that game. Right next to it is another Final Fantasy game, Final Fantasy 3 on Super Nintendo, which is, I believe, 6, if I remember right. I'm not exactly sure of which one it is in the Japanese number, but yeah, Final Fantasy 3 on Super Nintendo. And again, that is a game I've put a lot of time in. I think I'm about halfway, but never finished that. And it is also just sitting in my Super Nintendo, ready to be getting played. The final major game in my backlog is Super Mario Galaxy 2. And I guess I will throw in one more, since I'm looking at new Super Mario 3D World or Land, whichever one was on the Wii U. Kind of have started some of those games, even the 2Ds, Super Mario U, and just never finished them. And they're fairly good games. I have them. I just am not finishing them, which is really sad. Yes, I have other games. I'm trying to split my time between multiple things every week, but these are all games I already have sitting around, just laying around. I'm going to have to make a list and just maybe start checking things off so I can kind of force my way through. Which actually reminds me, I did pick up a game, a copy of Dragon Age Inquisition, the really good one, one of the Game of the Year contenders or Game of the Year last year, and picked it up really cheap, like $10 for a perfect copy, and I still haven't finished that, or Far Cry 3 games when I started getting back into, or Far Cry 4 technically, and just when I've been getting back into games, I just haven't. I get a little time and play it, but I don't have all the time in the world to myself, so sometimes it's easier just to play some handhelds that are quick and easy and right there with me, and sometimes if I'm home, it's very unlikely I'm home alone, so I don't really get time to just sit there and play other games I might want to play. Sometimes I just need to sit and hang out with people and play games, so that's when I usually turn to the handhelds, just because it's a little easier to pause and stop, at least. But yeah, I'll make a list and drop all these on it. These are kind of just the games that I really are top games that people say you should play, and I kind of just need to play them myself and finish them. And some of these games I've got a lot of time into, but like Far Cry 4, I think I've got maybe 50, 60 hours, which should be beating it, but I've done so many little side quests, I'm a little over halfway. I think I'm at 60%, but yeah, I really need to just sit down someday and finish that game, which is too bad. Near the beginning of the year, I made a giant list and laid out all these different games I was going to get and what I want when they were coming out and how much time I was going to devote to them and prioritize so I could focus on beating some of my backlog and as well as beating some of the new games, but just hasn't been happening. Always seems like the years change and you never get done exactly what you wanted to get done. But, oh well. On to actual games I have been playing. Let's stop talking about the games I'm not playing right now. Unlike my normal handhelds, I have also been playing on my PC, and I am I used to be an avid Dota 2 player. Started way back when it was originally a mod for Warcraft 3, and it was Dota, or Defense of the Ancients, for you that aren't as aware, but I've been playing Dota 2. My friends and I, and the clan, kind of get together on Tuesday nights and play, but on occasion we play throughout the week too. It's not just that, it's kind of just hard. There's a ton of people, but getting a couple people on at the exact same time is sometimes a little more difficult. So this Monday, I was I knew I wasn't going to be able to make Tuesday's clan night because I had other things I had to do. So I decided I wanted to at least play one game with some of the guys. So told a couple, and then a few more got on. So we had just a team of 4, which I was happy about. But I really wanted to play with just one of the characters, which in the game is called Bounty Hunter. He goes invisible, and he's kind of a little bit of an assassin. The way I play him is off lane, and most of you probably don't even know what half of this means, but I go around and I just try and help the team in any which way I can. One of the ways he helps is he can get your team more gold than they normally would in the game, and in that way he kind of breaks the game if you can take advantage of that enough. So I figured I wanted to try it. A lot of people say he's really good right now, so I haven't played him in a long time, so I figured I would. And we had fun. We played a game against 5 other guys, and we had just an extra guy thrown into our group. But we did win, and I had a lot of fun with that night. Might have played another, but most of the guys, we have other jobs and work that we have to do throughout the week, so didn't get to play any more than that. And then everyone else played on Tuesday, but I missed out on that. I think I caught the very late night one of their games, and it seemed like it was pretty much over by the time I started watching it, but the games usually are interesting. Switching gears again to my portables. As always, for my 3DS, I am still playing Pokemon Shuffle. It is back to kind of the regular weeks, it seems like. They had another competition this week. However, it is a old competition, so the Pokemon you can win is a upgrade stone or a site for Bulbasaur. And this competition happened actually a long time ago. I'm sure they already admit that they've done this competition before, but it's back again. So, and I don't have him, so I kind of would like to finish it off. Most of my guys are pretty well up there. I've been working all week to level them up. Not gonna get a final team of all level 10s to finish this competition off, but a bunch of them are level 9s, so I'm happy with that at least. And the competitions, the fact that it's another week of competitions, it does make me a little happy because I focus on the game and make sure I get multiple plays every day to level up as much as possible. It just puts me more into a focus, like, gameplay mood. The only problem is that some days I really would rather be playing Final Fantasy X, but since you you only get so many plays, and then you have to wait a half an hour for a play to regenerate with this free-to-play system, a lot of the times I know, like, oh, I have 15 minutes here, I'd love to just play a Final Fantasy X scenario, fight a bigger guy, and get some stuff that I've been working on getting, but instead I'm like, well, I can actually just clear all 5 of my plays that have regenerated over the day, and it sometimes is a little sad that that's what I do, but I mean, I'm enjoying being in the top tier of players, and I still have yet to pay any money, and so people that, if I'm anywhere near the top of some of these competitions and other people are paying $60 on this free-to-play game and I haven't played any because of my focus and my devotion to that game during the week, then I'm kind of happy. It makes me happy if I'm beating people that are really just throwing money to get levels and get levels faster than playing the game normally, but that's what I'm doing on my 3DS. I will say that I'm thinking about replaying Shovel Knight in the next couple of weeks. I mean, I already know I beat it, and there's no trophies on Nintendo, and I don't want to get it on the Vita. But with just all the news about Shovel Knight lately, I've just kind of got that itch back that I want to try and play it again. So we'll see about that. On the Vita, the PlayStation Plus lamp is coming out in just a couple of days, and so I've been playing just a lot of Final Fantasy X still, but for this month, for August, one of the free PlayStation Plus games was Castle Storm, if I remember right, and I got it right away when it turned to August 8th or whenever the PlayStation Plus lamp came out last month, but I hadn't played any of the games. However, I kind of figured that all I've been doing is playing Final Fantasy X lately, and I wanted to just mix it up a little bit for you guys this week. So I did turn on Castle Storm a little bit and play it. Not very much, half an hour, maybe 45 minutes is all, just to get a little taste and see what it is. It is it's a two-dimensional medieval type game where you really have to micromanage a lot of things. You have, in one of the scenarios I did, you have to summon guys that slowly walk across the screen towards the enemies. You have control of a catapult or javelin thrower, whatever, that you can change the weapon on, and you're shooting at guys, the enemy guys that are doing the exact same thing as the guys you summon, and they're trying to get to your castle. You also had to, in the first scenario, destroy their castle, and you had control of a hero character that you could summon onto the battlefield and then control as well and try and kill off, because the hero kind of does a lot more damage than the normal guys, so you're trying to get him to kill off guys and eventually get to their castle as well. So with all of this going on, you really have to be switching around. I mean, like, summon guys, but they'll eventually walk into the castle or go around to other guys, so you have to switch back really quick after usually like 15-20 seconds and summon some more guys. You also have a lot of resources you have to micromanage as well. So with all this going on, you're constantly clicking buttons like R and L to switch between things, as well as hitting different buttons that control summoning or shooting the catapult, stuff like that. So not quite my cup of tea. I know Nintendo has a similar game like this, and it's just, I don't know, it's kind of fun to a point, but, and maybe I just haven't played it enough, but it didn't scratch an itch or anything that I had for this type of a game. It's just really the same type of thing, just adding on more levels of stuff and micromanaging even more, so forcing your brain to think even faster. So it was a good diversion from playing some of the other stuff, but I think I'm gonna just wait till next week or the week after with the new PlayStation Plus lamp, and I'm actually looking a lot more forward to that. Brings us to our last game that I've been playing on my Vita, Final Fantasy X. As always, again, apologies for just playing the same ones, but I'm getting really close on some of this, and I've put so much time and effort, and I know I could just beat the final boss at any time, but I really want to keep going, and I'm really having fun with the idea that someday I will be able to say I 100%ed this game. And I know not many people can say that in the world, a lot more than I think, but not many people have put so much time and effort to 100%ing this. I'm still working on completing the entire sphere grid. I'm just working on getting Lux Spheres and Fortune Spheres at the moment. Lux Spheres take so long because the battle is still about 15 minutes. I found ways of making the battle a lot easier, but it's still about a 15-minute battle each time, and that gets me at least one Lux Sphere, or hopefully two most of the time, and I still need about 60, so I think I'm about 3 battles against the Greater Sphere away from finishing all my Lux Spheres, so I'm really close. After that, I am going to be working on getting HP spheres. I think I only have like 40 something, so I need a lot more HP spheres, and that most of the time I only get one of the HP spheres in battle. I also am going to need at least 99 fortune spheres because as I erase all my other stuff, I have to use fortune spheres to get the luck spheres to pop. But I don't know. As I clear out the whole grid, the sphere grid, I'm going to remove all the accuracy and evasion spheres for luck. Because as I've said before in the HD version, if you have 255 luck and 0 evasion, 0 accuracy, it still acts like you have, instead of luck, 255 of both of those stats. So you always hit, you always crit, and you evade a ton of stuff. So there's no real point to having accuracy and evasion. But when you do the sphere grid, whenever you delete one accuracy node in the grid, you're deleting it for everyone else in the whole thing. So while you're doing this, you're constantly making everyone weaker. Since I'm not a big fan of making everyone weaker, I kind of need to, as I delete out nodes and put luck spheres in, I have to use fortune spheres to pop the luck sphere and get me my +4 to luck. But after I clear all my fortune spheres out, I'm going to have to farm another 99 really fast. Otherwise, my other people are still going to be weak, because even using 60 and then the rest of the other 39 on another person, my other guy is still going to be kind of weak that I use in my main 3. So that's kind of what I'm doing over the next couple of weeks. Hopefully by the end of the weekend I'll have luck spheres and I'll be working on just fortune spheres. I did go through my list, and I only have one magic sphere, and I'm not exactly sure yet on if I really need to have magic. I know I need to have MP and stuff, but I'm not positive on if I need to have magic, if that helps to do more damage or help heal more, stuff like that. So I'm going to have to look into that next before I finish off and clear out the entire sphere grid. But that's still what I'm doing. I hope you guys aren't getting too bored. If you are, let me know, and maybe I'll maybe play some other of my PS Plus games just to keep switching it up again, or maybe I should play some other weird portable games that I have tons. I mean, I have tons of other games all over the place. I have Pokemons, I have everything under the sun, I have Game Boy games, but they aren't really part of my backlog of major games I want to play at the moment. So, but Game Boy systems are still portable, and I would definitely bring it up next week if you guys were like, yeah, let's play some Game Boy Color or something, because I got plenty of those. Which reminds me, I still am like 2 hours away from beating Oracle of Seasons for Zelda, but again, just one more game that I've gotten really close to finishing and never done. But let's break from depressing lists, and let's actually talk about news and stuff that's important, and some more cheerful things that happened this week, or in the last day, or even this morning. So, on Amiibo news, let's all talk about Shovel Knight. Yes, Shovel Knight is becoming an Amiibo. Nintendo announced it completely last night, I believe, at PAX night event, or the indie event, whatever it was, and said, yes, we really are doing, there is going to be a Shovel Knight that'll work on your 3DS and Wii U. It's got its own pose, but it is the first indie Amiibo that is coming out. Yes, I understand that Chibi Robo is going to be out too, but that's technically not indie. It is a Nintendo thing. It's just, yeah, it's a little more different. This is a full indie team that created from ground up and is on other consoles. So this is kind of the first first try of getting other companies to do Amiibo and not just have Nintendo franchises as Amiibo. The Amiibo will unlock a co-op mode in the game, so you and a friend can play Shovel Knight. Sounds really great. I will probably be talking to one of my friends, and when this comes out, I might just seriously pick up two, and get him one, because I would love to play Shovel Knight, even though we both played it. I'd love to play that with him in the future. It also will work with future Yacht Club games, and you can still save to the Amiibo different costumes that you create for Shovel Knight. So that sounds cool. I'm kind of really looking forward to the co-op play, especially with the Plague Knight DLC coming out for Shovel Knight, and that's going to be given to everyone that owns the game free of charge. So I would like to see if maybe like someone could be in the Plague Knight person and someone else could be Shovel Knight and co-op in that way, especially with the different firing mechanics in that and different damaging mechanics. I'd like to see how that would go. Also, with this Amiibo, there's some more information. Nintendo said that this Amiibo will not work with any first-party games as of this moment. And pretty much the game we're all talking about is Smash. There is all these different Amiibo, and they all work with Smash. However, Shovel Knight is not in Smash that we know about. It could be a future DLC or something they're working on. However, Nintendo did say that they are thinking about putting or allowing this Amiibo to work with other first-party games. So possibly Hyrule Warriors or, any of the other games that Amiibo kind of work with. Super Mario Maker would be awesome to have a 8-bit Shovel Knight going around and jumping on Goombas. I'd love to see that, but they haven't agreed. I think this is just a 100% Nintendo. If you were going to do fan service, you already brought this Amiibo to the people. You gotta just put it in your games. You have to put it in Super Mario Maker so that people can be Shovel Knight and jump on Goombas. You have to do that. I would love to make a ton of Mario levels and be at Shovel Knight and beating them. Would be great. You really just need to put Shovel Knight into Smash. I would not doubt it was one of the higher voted in the Smash vote for what characters we wanted to see in Smash. I'm pretty sure it probably made it in the top 10. The people are speaking. If you're already doing this Amiibo, just go the extra length. I know your company's kind of been changing a bit lately, but it might be for the better, and I would say it is for the better. I'm just one person, but I'd want to see this. I really do. And because of that, I think this is currently maybe my top Amiibo. I've got to find it. When it comes out in retail, I hope there's tons of copies of this, because this is going to fly off the shelves. But I want one. I really do. I want to be able to do more stuff in Shovel Knight. I want to play that some more. I want to play co-op. I mean, all of this sounds cool. There's also some challenge modes. So this Amiibo is actually going to unlock things in the game and bring the gaming experience more. And this is what Amiibo needs to be doing. Amiibo needs to add even more to games to make it really worth buying an Amiibo, so it's kind of like having a DLC locked in the Amiibo. Yes, you want to be able to buy the DLC other ways and not just have it in the Amiibo. If you get the Amiibo, you get a great figure and the DLC, but there's so much more Nintendo can do with these Amiibo. Even getting just old versions of their games and for Virtual Console and putting them on would be awesome. But again, we're waiting on Nintendo. Other news. Still on the amiibo front. There is a Mega Yarn Yoshi amiibo with Yoshi's Woolly World. We all saw the Yarn Yoshis, the red, blue, and green one that are going to be released. I really like the idea of getting this, and I kind of want one, even though I do have a Yoshi amiibo. A Yarn Yoshi just seemed cool. At the time, I really also was going to be getting Yoshi's Woolly World. That's probably not the case anymore, just because of money issues. I need to really think about what games I want to get. However, this is now more of a plush doll that you can sleep with and hold, and it has amiibo functionality as well. I don't know if I can get it. I don't know if it's probably going to be more expensive. It's like 3 times the size of the normal Yoshi amiibo, Yarn Yoshis, or 4 times even. It could be bigger. But it's really cool, and Nintendo is showing what else they can do with NFC. They're showing that they can do cards, plushies, not just figures. So the Toys to Life initiative with the NFC is really blooming. I mean, we have a Lego Dimensions coming out with different Lego figures you can build and change. It is great right now, and hopefully Nintendo is looking at their competitors as well and being like, this is a really cool idea. How can we make this our own? The Mega Yarn Yoshi will be coming out in America on North America on November 15th, and in Europe on the 27th. And again, it's going to have the same functionality as a smaller amiibo. Yay. Chibi Robo, and again, there was just a ton of games, and all these release dates came out this week, so this is why I'm got all this. Chibi Robo Ziplash got a release date of October 9th. Yokai Watch got a release date for November 6th in North America, and Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon will be released in North America on November 20th. There's, like I said before, the Plague Knight DLC is going to be coming out soon, and for everyone that purchased the original game, you're going to get this. So that's awesome. Tons of people are going to start playing this game again. If they haven't already, hopefully a couple more people pick it up. But I'm not a big fan of the mechanic of the arcing of the attack, but we'll see. I kind of like this Plague Knight, and if anything, when it comes out, I'll probably play some more Shovel Knight. There's a lot of news revolving around Vita games lately this week. A lot more has been saved for PAX. But a lot of them are just like, oh, this is some new footage or new trailer of a game that we've already announced. Or, hey, this is a fighting game and we're showing you that this person is going to be in this fighting game. Or this is the new artwork around the game. I've kind of stayed away from a lot of that news. None of it appeals to me enough, and I don't have a co-host, or I've got some people that do like some of the more obscure things like that, but not enough that I've gotten a bunch of feedback saying I'd rather hear about this stuff as well. So I'm kind of just skipping that. For Sony, since there's just not a lot of new stuff, new gaming news, and a lot of future games because they've kind of kept everything quiet for PAX, I'm just going to talk about the PlayStation Plus lineup for the Vita. And there's some good games on PS4 and PS3. In fact, Twisted Metal on PS3. I definitely am going to be downloading that to my account and probably giving that a try just because car fighting game is really appealing to me. But for the Vita, we have, and in no particular order, Super Time Force Ultra, Lamulama EX, and the game that I'm most interested about is Xeodrifter. I have had tons of people tell me to play this game. I've had tons of other podcasters talk about how great Xeodrifter is. It's a very Metroidvania-esque game on the 3DS, but it's also on the Vita, or coming out on the Vita, I think September 1st or near the beginning of this month. But I've thought about paying for it, and it just hasn't been enough of a push to get me to play this game, so I've waited. And lucky for me, it's coming out free on PS Plus, so I'm probably, as soon as the PlayStation Plus lineup is official and comes out, I'm going to get this game for my Vita free of charge, and I'm going to go, well, whatever subscription costs, and I'm going to probably finish this game in a month just because it sounded really cool, and I shouldn't have a hard time of beating the whole thing within a month. But that's me. Just a really interesting type of shooting game, similar to, I'm blanking on the game, some of the other Metroidvanias that have been talked about lately or coming out. Axiom Verge, similar kind of to that, different art style and everything, but still in the 8-bit, 16-bit era. So, yeah, it's interesting. I'm glad that I'm finally able to get this for almost free, considering I think it's on the 3DS. I think it's still like a $12, $15 game, and I don't want to pay that. I know that's kind of the standard price for indie games these days, but most of the games aren't worth that much to me, and I play them too quickly. I don't get enough hours, so I don't feel that is a appropriate price point for me. But with the PlayStation Plus subscription, I can get them for just pennies on the dollar, and that makes me a lot happier. Yes, I don't get to choose what games are on there, but, well, unless you got the new vote thing going on right now, but I'm still pretty happy about it. And games that are coming out, that are out already or coming out in the near future, we'll swap it over to Nintendo. Lil Battler's Experience is out, and I think Gotcha Racing just came out a day ago, maybe, if I remember right. Games coming out beginning of next month for Nintendo 3DS are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? This game comes out on almost every console Nintendo has, and again, I keep butchering this one. I'm never gonna get it right. Hatsune Miku Project Miri NX or DX, and that comes out on the September 8th as well. For the Vita, games that came out all on the 25th, Amnesia Memories, Back to Bed, a game that I really wanted to play, and if I had the money, I totally would have bought it already. Hopefully, well, I highly doubt this game's going to come out on PlayStation Plus, but it would have been great if it did. One Piece Pirate Warriors came out on the 25th as well. Shishimi and Steins Gate, as well as VVVVV or VA. I don't know really how they're pronouncing that or saying it, but that came out. Also coming out in just a couple of days, Xeodrifter and Danganronpa, another episode, Ultra Despair Girls. I think that all those two come out on the 1st of September, if I remember right. I don't remember if Xeodrifter, if it is going to be, since it's a PlayStation Plus game, if it's going to come out for PlayStation Plus subscribers right away on the 1st, or if they're going to wait to the normal day which is like the 4th or whatever it is, next week. I don't know exactly how that's going to end. It could be really on Tuesday the 1st, but I'm looking forward to it nonetheless. And Danganronpa is another game I've been looking into. I just don't really think it is for me yet. As many videos I've watched of it, it's just not the type of game I want to get into at the moment, not with everything else I'm doing. So, that has been the 12th episode of the Portable Gaming Podcast. If there's something I missed this week of news, or you do want me to talk about some of the weirder things about what character was just added to a game, I guess technically I probably should be throwing in some Smash Brothers DLC because it is on the 3DS, and I should probably be bringing up what new characters and DLC costumes are getting added to the 3DS version. Maybe next week I'll bring that up. I'm sure there's going to be some more stuff brought up in PAX. So there should be a lot more to talk about next week, especially with how quiet a couple of people have been being lately with PAX coming up. And that's usual for most when there's conferences coming up. I mean, Sony's probably going to go almost super quiet before the PlayStation experience. Probably like a month before, they're just going to go down to a trickle of news, and they're just going to be like, we're going to announce all this at our event. So we'll see. We'll see what next week has in store. Getting closer to September, which means we're also getting closer to Super Mario Maker. If you kind of enjoy my channel and check out some other stuff, I'm really hoping to figure out a way of recording some Super Mario Maker onto a drive or something, and then uploading it to my YouTube channel. We will see. I'm not positive exactly what the best ways are or the cheapest ways are for me doing that at the moment, but it's something I might do even if it really comes down to it right away. I might just put my camera on a stand and just record me making a level just to try it out so I can show people. It won't be the best quality, of course, using my phone, but it's something. And I'm going to love me some Super Mario Maker. I know that for sure. I'm actually regretting the fact that I might open up some of my amiibo from the packaging just so I can fight with a 8-bit version of Charizard on Super Mario Maker. Some of that stuff just sounds really awesome to me. But that has been it. Like, subscribe. I am still thinking about my competition. I kind of figured out what prize I want to do, so I'm still working on that. I'm not exactly sure how I want to implement or how I want to decide the winner, since there might be multiple winners. I need to finalize it, but we'll see. I'm still working on that, so keep your ears peeled to that, and I will catch you guys next time.